Yeah,
Uh, for all my students,
am I visible or am I visible to you?
yes, sir, you are visible and audible
Am
both.
I visible to you?
Yes, yes, you are, sir.
Okay, great.
You are wearing a nice yellow shirt. We can see that.
Okay, fine. That's fine. That's okay. I don't know how good or how nice it is, but it's fine. I don't know how it suits on me. That's a different matter altogether. Yeah.
No, it suits you. It suits you, sir. It looks good on you.
Thanks. Thanks.
So we welcome Mr. Ravi Iyer. He heads the FTTX sales and distribution at Reliance Jio Infocom to this 35th online thought leader series. And I like to bring to uh, his knowledge that ICFA University Dehradun has been making some significant achievements over last year or so. We are amongst the top 50 universities globally by World University with Real Impact Rankings 2020. We have earned the QS iGauge Elite certification. We are also amongst the 45th in ranking by Time Higher Education Impact Ranking 2021. And these are some significant achievements globally that this university has made. Recently, Education World has ranked us amongst the first in Uttarakhand amongst the
Oh,
private universities.
oh, wow.
And my students know it, but for our keynote speaker, I thought it is the time that he should also be knowing our achievements. And this has been uh, under the great leadership of our vice chancellor and the great team which of the faculty and the staff which we have here. For all my students, I'll like to share a brief about our keynote speaker. Mr. Ravi Iyer is leading the FTTX sales and distribution at Reliance Jio Infocom. And for all my students, if you may be, some of you may be knowing, for the others, FTTX is the fiber to the X, and X can be your home premises, offices, etc. And he is a highly experienced professional in his field with an illustrious career, a sales operation and customer service professional with over 20 years of experience in office automation and telecom industry, and which by any standard is very significant. 2 decades into the industry, this is a significant experience that he possesses. He has been associated with aggressive organizations. These organizations were startups when he has joined, and later on they went on to become industry leaders. Mr. Iyer has, to his credit, launch of the broadband internet in India with great success, and setting up the organization from start for DishNet in 3 states. He has professional expertise into DST management, channel management, understanding broadband services with consumer psyche and startup management. He is acclaimed as an excellent professional and a team player with global mindset who provides all possible freedom to his team. Those who know him closely, they find him to be a true leader who possesses the attributes of a champion and an attitude of a go-getter and a valuable asset to any organization. I invite the firebrand professional, Mr. Ravi Iyer, for sharing his views on the very relevant topic, which is sales and marketing as a career. Over to you, sir.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. I mean, that is a very, very, very elaborate introduction. In fact, I really no, more than anything, I'm actually happy to have meet a lot of your students, and I come from a background which is very pretty humble, and generally, I mean, give you a small, apart from what Dr. Sanjeev has said, it's primarily a passion, which is what got me into this. And well, and this is a line which is this is a profession which I would say more to do with what is required at a given point in time from an organization perspective than what actually one would love to do at that point in time. Unlike a different profession, where I want to say is, so if you're a chartered accountant or if you're any other field, supply chain management or anything, there organization key organization deliverables are achieved only one with revenues, and the revenues can also only be gotten by the sales and marketing professional. Generally, I'm saying so. Sales and marketing becomes the cogwheel, of any organization. So, without wasting much ado, what I want to do is, students and friends and everybody, is that I have made a small PPT. In fact, I don't know how to go about. So I said, let me make a small PPT and then see. Maybe we can start with that as a point, and then maybe will continue to do that. And I've also kept a small session for question answers. I mean, short in the sense It is not necessary we'll follow that, but then we can always be flexible in terms of what we have to do. Are we good to go, Dr. Sanjeev?
Yeah, please, sir. You can share the screen. And
Yeah, fine. See, what I want to say is primarily the topic which I want to cover, which I've covered, is making it very small. In fact, just about four topics. The last topic is our question and answer. So we'll start with that. So let me take the full screen. Now the screen is visible, I guess, right? To all of you. Is the screen visible?
Not yet, sir. Not yet, sir. Only we can see you.
Oh, you can't see the screen, is it?
No, sir. No, sir. Not yet. We can't see. There's a share button, right? At the bottom, if you see in the bottom menu, there is a share button. You open the file first on your system, and then you share, and then you click on that file. Then it will be.
1 second. I did that. I don't know where. 1 second.
Sir, if any difficulty comes in sharing, you can share the file with us. We can share.
One second. It should not be difficulty. 1 second.
Or alternatively, if you find it difficult, sir, you can send it and mail it maybe to probably
I can do.
and probably she will share this.
Yeah.
Would it be okay with you, Dr. Ankita?
I'm not able to get the share on.
Yeah, that's fine.
is that share screen button visible to you, sir? Green color share screen on your device. That green color share screen button is visible to you?
The bottom menu, sir, you will find it.
Yeah, 1 second. Now is it over?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Now it's visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I was just trying to know the screen share. It was not clicking through. I don't know what was the problem. Okay. So now it's visible, right, to all of you?
Yeah, it is visible.
Yeah.
Maybe you can maximize it. You can.
Why is it connecting to cloud server? I don't know. I think it's getting saved. Is it visible to all of you?
Yeah, it is visible.
Sorry?
It is visible. It is visible. You can perhaps put it on the slideshow.
Yeah, I'll put the slide for it. Yeah. So what I've done is I've just taken about 4 topics, mainly what is sales marketing from a professional point of view, and what are the sales and marketing benefits. What is Spanko? Have you guys heard of Spanko, everybody? As students? Are the students aware of the word of the terminology of Spanko? Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes,
sir.
sir, you're audible.
Okay.
Students, you can reply.
Yeah, I just want to check whether I was checking with the students whether do they know the term Spanko? So that's what I wanted to just check. So if they know it, it's nothing great, but otherwise also still it's okay. So I have covered these are the topics which has been covered. So let's start with sales and marketing from a pure hardcore marketing point of view, sales and marketing point of view. See, normally what sales is nothing but an actual sale involving an actual sale of product or services to the end user, which is very, very critical. In fact, there is what that is defined as sales. And before actually start with sales, something, moment a child is born, the first thing a child normally loves to do is sell himself or herself. That's unfortunately or fortunately the fact of life. If you really look at a small infant who doesn't know to talk, who doesn't know to do anything, in fact, a newly born baby, I would say, they start communicating the first way. They start selling themselves. The moment they're hungry, they start crying. The moment they want to do anything, they start crying. So that's how they pull the attention of a parent, of a mother. So that's the sales activity is something which is involved and inbuilt in us right from the time when we are, no, right from the time when we come to this earth. So that's one of the most beautiful aspect of sales. You know, how a sales activity or marketing activity is involved with a human being. That's one. Second, marketing is a process or ability, in helping the sales of product or service possible. So normally these two are in reality of life. Let me tell you, in any organization, though their outside world knows sales and marketing as one word, but within an organization, they are never a one word. They are always two different departments. They are always not like a Tom and Jerry. In fact, sales will always blame marketing. Marketing always will blame sales. And I'm talking about the reality of what happens in a normal organization. So though these two activities are two different activities, but in organization, these two activities are never part of their reality in terms of how people perceive these activities. Though both the activities are linked with each other. Next is, marketing plays an important role for sales by building visibility, creating demand, and so on and so forth. Marketing plays a great ally for sales to happen. I mean, if you really talk about this in an organization, sales guy will never agree to this. They are the main people, and that's how they want to really make sure it happens. But that's the fact of life, that's what the marketing role is. Sales actually is the first touch point of experience for a consumer from a product or service point of view. I mean, how true it is, so the moment I decide to buy a product or a service, I mean, once I bought, I buy it, which means there is a sale which is involved, and that is where this particular thing of experiencing the customer experiencing the product and the service of always happens through a sales. A marketing is a first visual touch point to build a desire to experience the product or the service for the consumer, which means a marketing always will play a role whereby they really make sure a desire is built up. See, desire is nothing but it's a starting point of anybody who wants to get into or want to experience or buy something. That first a desire has to be brought in. So marketing does that. That's a visual touch. The moment you go to a shopping center, or you go to a shopping center or mall or whatever, the moment you see some product, you would have gone to the checklist of these are the items which I need to buy. But then suddenly, more often than not, what happens? You end up buying things which you actually happen to see, at that point in time. So that what happens is that's how their marketing is. That's how the branding or marketing or visuality is done. So marketing brings in that first visual touch point for a consumer to make a experience of to have an experience with the product or the sales. Am I clear? I mean, you can always ask some questions, but though we have kept a question and answer session much later, I mean, a little later. But if you have anything coming up in your mind, thinking that you want to ask something, we can probably you can do so. Do I move to the next slide?
Akhilesh, did we allow the participants? Sorry, sir. Sorry, Akhilesh, did we allow the participants to ask question in between, or are we kept it like we always kept it in the end? Sir, we actually generally allow the participants at the end of this thing, right? They can write their queries on the chat box.
Absolutely. That's how I kept structured that. I thought in the end of it, we can have a question answer. Absolutely. Okay. So we're now coming to the main hot topic, What is why career benefits of sales and marketing? Why is it people are advised to get into sales and marketing? When I started when I got into this business, I mean, way back 25 years back, that time, ये बंदे को यार ज्यादा काम का नहीं है, तो सेल्स में डाल दो यार, सेल्स को सीख लेगा, अपना काम कर लेगा यार. That was the kind of a thought process always it was. So a guy, one used to move into sales because he was not qualified chartered accountant, he was not a qualified doctor, he was not, so on and so forth. So sales, okay. So the biggest advantage of a sales is, yes, it has always given a limitless opportunity as far as employment is concerned. Here I'm talking about employment. A sales guy or a marketing guy can sell or market anything, be it a pen or a paper or a computer or a service or internet or anything. He has all, because the point is that's how the perception of a sales guy always is, because he has always been meeting people, talking to people. So that's the first point which I feel always is employable. That's about it. Which means his career tenure, his tenure of marketability, his tenure of use by date always is much higher, much beyond most of the professions. Secondly, yes, it's a huge and high earning potential. I mean, no doubts about that, because a sales guy will start. I remember, I tell you, when we started a career, I had a very wonderful friend who used to be in Eureka Folk. Eureka Folk used to be a Tata, which used to be a Tata company at one time. I don't know whether you guys have heard. People, you may be still using the Eureka Folks products at your home. The 25 years back, he used to say that I remember he used to mention, though I was not a part of the Eureka Folk, but then I remember that he always tell his same team, if you want to dream the color of your Mercedes, okay, dream now. You always dream, so which means he always was sure that people in sales will earn enough to make sure that they buy the best of the car. The best of the best of the car, in the sense, the best of life they can always see, because that's the kind of money which they keep making. It's apart from, I mean, most of the professions have got salary, but then here people have given incentives to earn, which means the incentives or the additional earning because of the sales will be equal to or more than his salary many of the occasions. So that's one. Third is the high career growth. If you really look at deeply into any organization today, you will find that the CEOs of an organization always would have been a sales and marketing guy, more often than not. I mean, sales and see, you get that much high leeway to move into a position of strength from a point of view when you start to get into organization, any organization for that matter. Or for that matter, if you have a CFO as a CEO, he has to make sure that sales and marketing is part of his portfolio, which is very important. So the growth, whenever there's a choice be given for the next level to manage a company or manage a product portfolio or manage anything, there is a choice always is between two professions, and one of the professions is a sales and marketing profession. Obviously, the preference always is given to him, so him or her. So that is how the life is for a sales guy or a marketing guy. His career is flexible. I mean, one of the reasons of why this happens is because his career, he is always flexible to adapt. I mean, you will see a sales guy who can sell anything and everything. The attitude of a sales guy is very different. I mean, it is very different, because that makes him adaptable to situations, adaptable to challenges, and adaptable to the way and the ways of thinking of a new culture. So what happens is, in a scenario, the marketing always uses the new technology. I mean, you take today how beautifully people are getting into to the world of online business. But today, what we are doing doing nothing but we are into talking to one is to many on a virtual call. That is nothing but technology which has changed. Similarly, your Facebooks of the world, your Instas of the world, and all this new technology has become a huge marketing tool for anybody and everybody. So and this is first adapted by a sales and marketing guy rather than anybody else, because you require the technology to reach the people. You will use the technology to reach the people the first time. So they are more adaptable. I'm saying the technology is more adaptable. They get used to this kind of technology. Next is, I mean, what more than a sales and marketing professional who has, if you go really look at the professional network of a sales and marketing guy is the largest, because that's how they build their career on. Because unless and until you don't network with people, you don't attract people, you don't get people, keep meeting people virtually, physically, or whatever, whenever. So I'm sure you will find the network. Everybody wants a sales and marketing guy. Everybody wants to talk to him, and vice versa. That's only reason why a sales marketing guy will always be in demand for his profession, and also because of the fact that he is being well utilized by others in the business for his own work. That's very critical. And actually speaking, a sales guy learns the art of to become creative. A marketing guy gets into creative business of business mold, because you have to make sure that the product is reached. Let's take the recent example. The example of that Coke. What happened? The Coke and Cristiano Ronaldo. He just picked up the beautifully. They made sure that he keeps aside the Coke bottles, and then because of that, the marketing companies, wonderful marketing companies like Pidilite and so on, everybody started putting it in a very beautiful way. They started promoting the same kind of episode. They made sure that they have a very good product to market. I mean, what I'm saying, they're extremely creative. They become extremely creative. That's how they start selling the product selling the product and services to the customer. The more important thing is, if you really look at us, anybody, if tomorrow you want to start your own business, I mean, I'm sure most of the students would love to. At the end of it, they will definitely love to start their own, something on their own. And this business, or rather this profession of sales and marketing, gives them the immediate access or fluidity and understanding of how to start a business. Because then once you are into your business, you are dependent on sales and sales to make your revenue. So the revenues don't come irrespective of what wonderful ideas you have. It is of no use. So that's the most important aspect of sales. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, now I don't know do very many students know about this. I don't know whether Dr. Sanjeev, do you think this is used in your teaching process?
Yeah, in a different way. Once they take the elective sales and distribution, something close to it is being taught to them, but it will be interesting if you share it, sir.
Okay. This is Spanco is called as it's a terminology which has come from Xerox. Well, I was a Xerox product in the initial stage of my career. They built up this Spanco. If you really look at this Spanco, it is completely agnostic of what product you sell or services you sell. It's completely agnostic to the fact that what industry you belong, and it requires a human approach. It's nothing but a human approach to any situation and given nuances of life. And like, for example, if you really look at from a sales perspective, Spanco, and S is nothing but suspect. Suspecting, for example, if I want to start a business, okay, my first thing which I will do is I'll start moving around the market. I'll first I'll meet multiple customers. I mean, whether the Mr. X is interested or no, but I will go and talk to him or her. Miss X or Y is wanting the product or services, but I will go and talk to her. So what I will do is, in the process of my trying to sell, I will assimilate number of customers and keep it with me. So that yes, I've met so many people. Now next stage comes is a prospecting. A prospecting level is nothing but which is that customer who is going to actually buy my product or service. Being depending on the industry, what industry you are, you will know which is the customer who is actually wanting to buy a product or no. So I will then shortlist from hundreds of people who are met. I will shortlist them. So maybe 20% of that. Okay, now this 20% of the people I'm going to make sure I'm going to approach them. Okay, first is suspecting, then prospecting, then third is approach. Then you start approaching them. After having listed down the minimal prospects whom I can actually go and talk, I'll start approaching. In this approach, I know what I have to talk about: the product, services, whatnot, the kind of company, background, so on and so forth. I build a desire in his mind. I build a scenario where I tell him, boss, listen, this is the product or service you have to take, and these are the benefits, which is nothing but providing with complete benefit statement. This is why you have to buy my product. And then when the customer says yes, okay, when he has the entire desire is built in and he wants to take it to the next level, then you start. Then there's a negotiation which is happening. The customer will say, boss, I want no, maybe a price discussion, or maybe a service quality discussion, maybe a uh, quantity discussion, maybe where the pricing, where you start negotiating for his services, where he add-ons and whatnot. So all the discussions will start taking place. Once the discussion is over, once both the parties, sales is nothing can never happen with just a single person winning. It has to be a win-win situation. So, but if both the parties, seller and the buyer, both of them are actually convinced about benefits, which it's called as fab. No, feature, advantage, benefit. I'm sure most of you would have learned this. What is the feature of the product or service? What is the advantage? And what is the benefit? So once these three are closed, once these three are actually into the mind of the customer, then yes, then you are getting into closure. Then what you do after negotiation over, you just get into closure, where the closure is nothing but you are trying to tell boss, this is the best product, this is the product which you have got, sir. Now you have to use this product or services to experience my quality. So that is where the closure comes. And see, in remember one thing always in sales, or for that matter any negotiation or anywhere in life, unless you ask, the answer is no. Okay, I mean, it's a reality of life. You need to ask what you want. People are not here antaryamis, or people are not astrologers to know what the person wants or no. So in a sales scenario, it's all the more because we as salespeople are so scared of asking for an order, as though you have created an interest, you have negotiated, everything has been done. But still, you will never ask. I'll always ask for an order. Always communicate, boss, I want your order. So that is, see, this order can be looked at from a sales perspective. It can be looked at a reality of life perspective. In fact, unless you really speak out, you will never know what the person wants. So you have to talk. You have to ask. So that is how the order comes in. So you need to ask for an order. Then the customer will. There can be two scenarios. The customer will give you the order, or he will not give you the order. If he doesn't give you the order, then you again go back to the table on the end, which is negotiation. What is it you don't want? What is not? So the order in every stage of life, every stage of cycle for a sales to happen, it will always be an order which is critical. Unless the order comes, then your revenues you will never be able to generate revenue. So that is what the Spanco is given. I mean, of course, I've attended this training program of Spanco for 3-day program. Imagine Xerox's 3-day program. It's so deeply done. So I just want to touch upon it at this point. So understand how a sales is actually done. And the next is, now this is a very interesting principle. I don't know, but I'm sure most of you would not have really know this. What is 24 by 42? Well, now 24 is, see, it's a, today how the organizations are well spread out. Sorry. There is a head office, there is a branch office, there is a regional office, there are state office, there are depots, there are service centers and retail outlets and whatnot. So 24 denotes an HQ operation, which is nothing but you are sitting in a very cushy 24-degree environment, air-conditioned environment, trying to strategize, plan, planning the execution, everything you're doing that. Whereas the 42 is nothing but as I mentioned to you, the branch and regional operation, it's a consumer and road. People are actually working on the street with a hot 42-degree centigrade. So this is one way to look into this. Is a 24 head office is they plan, execute everything. They plan the execution. The execution happens at the region or a state or at that level. 24 is an aspirational goal. I mean, that's something which you have to, you will start at your career, or everybody who's in the 42-degree will always love his map his path to a 24-degree, how to move out from that, how to move into that. So the distance from 42-degree to 24-degree is nothing but hard work. And you can actually, in a sales and marketing career, you can literally take it much faster, much beyond that, much quicker. So it's nothing but it's purely 42 is a hard work to achieve growth. Second, and if you really look at the aspirational part and the hard work part of it, people I mean, as you normally people start their career at the age of 24, you know, and they start out a career whereby at the age of 42, by 42, today I'm talking about today's generation, which is absolutely perfect. It's wonderful. You have got 18 good years to achieve that, to reach for that the comfort level, the comfort zone of the 24. So you will require that by the time you are 42, you will want to make sure that you are into the cushy place where you would love to do a lot of things, want to execute things. Start with the hard work. 24 when you're 24-year old, you actually start at a 42 degrees centigrade. By the time you reach your 42nd year, well, you would love to be in that cushy 24 degrees centigrade office. So what I want to say, the 24 by 42 principle, if you really apply it overall, it makes it very different and very, very conducive for any human being who is wanting to charter a path where he or she feels that, yes, I want to make it happen. I want to make sure that my life is going to be the best, the way it is at this point in time. I have to go through this grind of aspiration, hard work, starting your career, reaching the growth level, whatnot. So this is what 24 by 42 principle is all about. So, I think I think have you? I mean, is it? I mean, that's about it. Now I leave the entire this thing for question answers. We can start with questions actually.
It's very interesting what you said, Mr. Iyer.
Yeah.
Most of the times when the students, they are starting their career, they aspire to be the 24 degrees.
Yeah.
But how do they get rid of the fear of sales? How do this realistic expectation come to you that you have to toil and work hard to reach to whatever you aspire for?
How do you? I didn't get you. I didn't get your question. Sorry. How do you?
I was saying that it is very interesting that you shared the 24 by 40.
Yeah, it is. So see, there is no substitute to hard work. That is one thing is very clear. I mean, I may be one of the best qualified person in the room, but I definitely will not be able to get to my potential if I don't work very hard. So end of the day, the hard work is a critical part of it. Rest everything will happen to you. I mean, you have the desired knowledge, desired ability. Everything is fine. That's all the given essentials. But most important essential for any human, this thing is person to grow in life is your hard work. I mean, you have to work. That unfortunately has got no substitute. So that is how it is.
I've seen most of the times the students at the start, they have a fear for, means they want to skip the hard work. How to get rid of that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have seen it. In fact, I mean, why I can talk about my own son. Sometimes I find him, wanting to do something quickly. Dad, I want to do this. Yeah, I want to get into this very fast. Tell me how to do. How will I do that? So, I mean, you not realizing the fact that you cannot see that it's not that something which you can. It's like an attitude. You can't go to a medical shop and buy all the medicine, but you cannot buy attitude in a medical shop. And it is something which you have to have ingrained in your own. So similarly, hard work is also, it's something there is no fear. Actually speaking, why should one fear? I mean, let me ask you the other way around. A person who has got wonderful qualification. Okay, remember you already won the war. I mean, you already got in the battleground with well equipped for winning the war. We have got a good MBA degree with you. You have got a good, wonderful this. So there is no fear. I mean, you will see. Something. I want to tell you one more thing. Lion. Lion. People always get scared of lion. Lion is something which it's called the king of the jungle. Is it because lion is weighing, say, for example, 200 kilos, for example? That is, if the lion is weighing 200 kilos, elephant is weighing maybe 500 kilos. Do you think a lion can really take the prey, move fast, quick, or is very quick animal? No, it's not. It is not. There are other animals much faster than lion is. So what makes the why is that people are scared? Not people. Why is that animals get scared of only lion? Why is lion called the king of jungle? It's only because of the attitude, and people forget that for lion to have a prey, it is successful. Out of 10 attempts, it is successful only twice, and people remember only the 2 attempts which they have actually where it has got its prey. That is simple. It is it is in short. If you really look at the percentage, it's only 20% of the time the lion is successful in its attempt to get a prey. When it is like trying to, otherwise rest of the 80% of the time the prey escapes. But people don't really. The question is, it is work. It's work which is put into it's a hard work which is put into action. So you cannot escape that. And yes, it's an attitude. Nothing but attitude. A lion has got the attitude to go and attack. Go and attack rather than wait for the. Similarly, a sales and marketing professional has to have the attitude of a lion. You have to make sure that one is hard work, as I said, and second, you have to go and head on. I mean, what will happen? So, for example, I keep asking most of my teammates, and whenever I go out on lecture, what are you fear? What is the fear? What will happen at worst? You will not succeed, right? First time you may not succeed. You go and meet, you want to make a sale. Your first customer will close the door. Second customer will close the door on you. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth. But it should not be certain you. The 9th customer will definitely open the door for you. And that one door is enough for you to open. In life, that is all you have to require. That's all is required for you to get that belief in you. Have the belief, have the attitude, and of course, now you can never miss the hard work. You have to have the hard work. And plus, well, all the IBA students today, you guys have got the most important qualification with you. I mean, you have got the reputed university, reputed institution facts. What else you want? I mean, people, you're already into a battleground. A lot of students today are not even into the battleground. You guys are already gone to the battleground. You are there. So I think the fear is it's a fear of trying rather than the fear. See what there is a what do you call in a synonym for a fear is something like there is always I find something which is not existent. The fear is nothing, but it's not. You can never see a fear. You're 95 or 98% of the time, all your fears actually is a mirage. The fear can never engulf you. Unless you get engulfed by the fear, the different matter, but fear cannot. Just go ahead. My advice to all the students is just go ahead and live your dream. I mean, you've got everything going for you. Just live. Have an attitude to move on. That's all I want to say.
Very true. Very true. Most of the fears are unfounded. And if they can have this ability to put hard work at the right time, at this initial stage of their career, then perhaps by the time they are in their 30s, 40s, they can aspire to be in the top position in the organization.
Absolutely right. See, there is top position in the organization or start something on their own. See, today's generation wants to start. See, I'll tell you what, that's what I'm sure probably Dr. Sanjeev, for you also would have happened, or most of us would have happened. See, when I was growing, both my parents were government servants. Okay. And the only thing which I kept learning from them is, hey, you have to study hard, work hard, study hard, and get a good job. And that time the government job. Okay, because they were government, so always that it was ingrained in my mind saying, no, I have to study hard, I have to work hard. I mean, I have to hard work, and I have to get a government job. That's all. So nobody, unlike the today's generation, where people. Where, for example, most of the students know they want to do something on the startup world. It's a world of startup. People are getting into different ways and means of making a business, business not to make only money. That's one part of the story. Second, business which will help a consumer with pain point, resolve a consumer pain point. No, that's what people are working. Everybody is starting something on their own. In fact, to be very honest with you, I mean, if one of your students wants to start startup, do something startup, I don't mind coming in, being on their board. What I want to say is that's how the people today are looking at startup. Today, I keep telling my children, my children, you have to do something which you have to start something on your own. I mean, my advice is, unlike my parents' advice to me, is that you have to work hard, study harder, and play harder. Okay, work hard, play harder, study hard, and business has to be, do your something on your own. You get into something where you really address the consumer pain point for you to make a difference to the society. That's important for most of us. So that's how it is.
Akhilesh, are you there? I think we can allow these. Yes, sir, please. I was just asking to allow the students to write in the chat
I
box.
was waiting for the students to ask the questions. That's why I was interacting with Mr. Iyer. And I put it.
Okay. I suppose it is disabled now.
Sorry?
Akhilesh, please allow the students to write in the chat box.
Chat can be enabled even if the students can unmute and ask Akhilesh if you can provide that.
Yeah, you can become. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can ask. You can ask. You can because what happens is sometimes what happens is you can miss out on your this.
If they can raise hand and unmute and ask. The students, you can put forward your questions. I was saying, in fact, last when you were talking about, they had now in the present times in 2021, they have plenty of opportunities for their startups. The environment is so conducive for startups that if the students or anyone who wants all those facilities which were earlier not there, they are available to.
Correct. Absolutely. Today everything is available. That's exactly what the point is. It's today. I mean, you have what was not available to us at one point in time when we. I mean, today everything is there. It is just the time that you have to grab the opportunity. Opportunities are around. You have to grab the opportunity and just be visible. That's about it. You have to be visible, and this visibility will not come without you taking the opportunity and really taking that far your imagination and your goal. And I mean, your imagination working towards your goal. So that's how it is.
Absolutely right.
Any questions of that? I'm not able to see.
Akhilesh, are the students able to use the chat box? Are they? Is it enabled?
I'll stop the share.
Yeah, you can, sir. You can. The students can now.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see the. Okay.
Students, chat is enabled. You please check. You can write your questions to the chat box.
If you want
Else
to,
we will keep on continuing with the resource person, right? We would love to talk.
Praveen, if you want to ask a question, raise your hand so that you can.
Yes, there is a question in the chat box.
Yes, Sonali, what core values do you think every salesperson should possess? Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so Sonali, the core values never change. I mean, they are completely ingrained into oneself. So what happens? A core value people look at. I mean, gone are the days when now the core values. There are certain values which is given and what is expected. Given are hard work. It's a core value which is given. People expect hard work. You cannot do anything. Sincerity, hard work. These are the things which truthfulness and what I don't know. All you can frame a lot of words for that. You can keep having that. But what is core value in for a sales and marketing career is you have to be creative. One of the most important factors. You need to be creative. You need to be approachable, and you need to build your network. You need to make sure that you are more of a outward. You're not an introvert. You're extrovert. You need to have extrovert. You need to talk. You need to make sure people listen to you. You need to be a very, very good listener. That's very, very important because in your push to make your career really exceed your expectation, you always will be you need to be a good listener. So So according to me, the core values of any person, any sales and marketing person should be creativity. He should be a very good listener. He should make sure, I mean, he or she has to be a very good people person. Because you will always have people, you're dealing with people. You will be always be with people. So you need to be emotionally very strong. Emotional intelligence is extremely critical for a sales and marketing person. So what are the next one? So marketing is also done by non-MBA candidate also. Then there is any difference that MBA candidate can do same in terms of getting paid or sales management? Okay. So marketing is done by a non-MBA also. Yes, of course, marketing is done by non-MBA also. And then there is also any difference that MBA can do and say, of course, a lot of difference MBA student can bring into the table. For example, during during multiple interviews which I've taken of candidates who wants to, if see MBA and non-MBA, what the core importance is given, as I mentioned to you, the attitude, those things are, the given features are the given characteristics are important. But an MBA student will bring in a lot of analysis in his mind. He will do, unlike because in your due course of your study, for example, now you and I are talking. I mean, that's one of the real goods of real good thing what Dr. Sanjeev and Dr. Ankita have done is they make you speak with professionals who have seen and done most of the things which you aspire to do, what you will do better than them subsequently. Okay, so what, whereas a non-MBA may not necessarily go through all that. He has to work his way, hard work up, make sure. Whereas the concepts, your concepts are more stronger, your beliefs are more stronger. Sorry. Let me have a glass of water. So your beliefs and your attitude are much different in comparison to a non-MBA. From an MBA, again, an MBA is a lot of small institutions also give MBA, and a lot of big institutions also. Obviously, a student from a ICPI or a IBS, it's extremely critically acclaimed student. They always know what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is ugly, what is beautiful. These are all multi-factorial, multi-dimensional values of a human being. So which you people actually really look at, have gone through the grind when you're doing MBA course. So yes, MBA will always bring a better value to the table compared to a non-MBA who has got this. Is what my take is, and I'm sure I'm not wrong.
I'll just add to what you said, sir.
Yeah.
It is not only marketing. If you have done an MBA, a non-MBA can do management, any aspect of management, whether it's finance, marketing, or people management. So the differences between the knowledge, skills, and the attitude which MBA possesses and a non-MBA may not possess. So it's not only marketing. Management is also done by non-MBA people, and managing human resources is also done by non-MBA. Managing finances is also being done by non-MBAs.
Correct.
MBAs are smarter, have that analytical power, and have the right attitude.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I said. So MBA always will bring to the table much different than the non-MBA. I mean, not that non-MBA don't grow; they also grow. But then the values which MBA brings in because of his exposure is far. Absolutely, I completely agree, Doctor. So the next is in perspective to a small or new.
Sir, if you allow, before going to the next question, can I add a couple of words to the previous question?
Yeah, sure.
MBA and non-MBA. I would throw one question in return to all the students: why it has happened that, or have you ever observed that those who have taken some entrepreneurial initiative, they grow in size, they grow in volume, but beyond the limit, they always prefer to hire professionals. What is the reason for that? Right? The answer which comes to your mind will be the answer to your question. Why is it so that a college dropout can establish a company like Microsoft or Google or so and so and so and so, like Facebook, isn't it? But beyond the scale or beyond the limit, right? They always prefer to hire the qualified people to manage their own business. They might not be, but beyond the scale, they always prefer their business to be managed by professionals, professional graduates, right? So it's always give you an advantage when you have your MBA degree. It gives you altogether different attitude to look into the different perspectives.
Absolutely.
So that's all. Thank you, sir. We can go to the
Absolutely
next
right.
question.
Very valid point. I mean, very, very valid point. I mean, you really made it sound so important and so absolute on to the dot. I mean, I appreciate that. Yes, no doubt. A professional, they will definitely look at the professional, a qualified professional only, because I mean, for example, they may not be a qualified themselves. They may not be very highly qualified. But yes, when they want to build a company to a large, even if they want to build a company, I mean, for example, today if you look at people who are wanting to build a small company, they always prefer, why? They prefer a qualified person, professional only. They will not prefer somebody, as you rightly said, it's not anybody else other than a qualified professional, only because they feel mentally they are more comfortable handing over their future to in that hand. What I want to say is, see, irrespective, it's all, for example, the company which you have named, all the big companies which has become so big today. And at one time when they start from a garage, they wanted to recruit a qualified person because they can see them handling their future. It's nothing but their future which has been handled by them. It's apart from, that's how you're right. I completely agree with you.
I know many businessmen, sir. I belong to a city which is very famous for exporting the builders' hardware items, right?
Absolutely.
There are many businessmen who have turnover maybe 200 crore or 500 crore, but ultimately, why don't they grow beyond the limit? Reason they are not being able to differentiate between a family-owned business and the management of the business. They get confused with the ownership of the business and the management of the business.
Absolutely.
For the management of the business, you need professionals.
Managing the business requires professionals, and see the Bania business, the Bania type. I mean, I can tell you one thing. I mean, there used to be a time when see Birlas, for example, Birlas. It's nothing. It used to be at one point in time. It is not one. It always was a family business. But the kind of changes what Kumar Mangalam brought in was phenomenal. Young educated person brought in, when very unfortunate for him, his father passed away very early in his life, and he had to take reins of the business in his 20s. I mean, it was something which and a huge business empire was onto him. But yes, when he started handpicking people, he started picking up people who are well qualified. See, always remember, I mean, a person grows depends on what kind of a company he keeps. If he keeps a company who are more qualified than him, definitely it makes a lot of sense for him. You will always aspire to be somebody or something or someone whom you feel that today I don't have that attributes, but I want to become that. And what is that is something which that person, if you ask that person what he has, what has made him that kind of a person, he will definitely say one thing which he'll say is my education. 100%. So yes, absolutely, I completely am in sync with it. That's important. A professional and a business owner should be two different dimensions to a given business. So I mean, that's how all the companies today are run. In fact, most of the companies are run.
All these successful ones.
Only all correct. Yeah, successful ones. True. Okay. So can I take the next question?
Yes, sir, please.
In perspective to small or new business, how can sales or marketing idea or process should maintain or move forward? Should we follow pocket-wise or wholesome approach for a demography? If I understand this question, what I understood from this was, I'll read it once again. In perspective to small or new business, how can sales or marketing idea or process should maintain or move forward? Should we follow a pocket-wise? When you say pocket-wise, you're talking about finance. I presume it's finance. I'm not too sure. Pocket-wise or wholesome approach for a demography. Demography in the sense you're talking about scale. That's what my understanding of this is. Pocket-wise. See, any business, when you start a small idea, any idea is very critical. Germination of an idea starts when you see that idea resolving some issues in the market. If I mean, for example, I can give you Ola. Okay, Bhavesh Agrawal. We all been using Ola for. Am I audible? I mean, I'm not too sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So Ola, when it was started about 10 years back, Bhavesh Agrawal just was a 24-year-old kid. Okay, And imagine, I mean, the same question, whether it's pocket wise or no. So what he did was he started this approach of last mile cab. You know, when he was just 24, people did not believe. People never thought the commutation, the commute will be so easy. You know, so much dependent. We all have taxis and rickshaws and autos and buses and trains. And why will anybody? How can they survive? How will he survive in that kind of environment? I mean, why will people pay for something? But then the idea was wonderful. So what I want to say, the idea is there's nothing called a small or new business, the small or new idea. It's idea as long as it serves the purpose of resolving a pain point, it is done. At that point in time, nobody has got finances. Please understand, when you start at scale today, if you look at Ola, it's one of the maybe top 5, top 4 companies in India. And as a unique, it's already a unicorn. I mean, it's that huge. So when it started there, it was never that huge. Slowly, people started putting in money. And today, let me tell you, finance also is very easily available. It's not that finance is not available. There are multiple VCs around. I mean, I know the couple of very good friends of mine who are pestering me. Why don't you start something? We are there to fund you. So the question of money is not a problem. The more important is to have execution of your idea is critical. Once you have an idea, how you execute the idea. For instance, let me tell you, I am a Jio. Every Jio was the last player to get into this business of telecommunication in India. When everybody were well established, before we entered, there were about 20 players in the market in India. And today, the scenario in the last 7 years have completely changed. I mean, it's not that what we did, or rather, I would say what Jio did was not doable by, say, Airtels of the world or Tatas of the world. I'm talking about Indian companies. But then execution is critical. You have an idea, execute it. I mean, for example, when we came out, we said, well, we'll give you free call, free voice. Imagine a scenario when Jio comes in and you don't have very many customers. I mean, customers not coming in. Whom? Even if I have a Jio SIM, whom will I call to? The other person should have it, because the complete market was completely, in a turmoil. Because when we came in, we offered the free services. People made them use our services. They felt the services. They liked it, and we changed the games. The game was changed. So it is not that people will not have idea, even how well you execute the ideas. So whether you want to go a complete demography way, like for example, in my business, what business I am into, fiber, we don't go entire worldwide. No, worldwide in the sense, entire countrywide. The fiber can be rolled out area wise. So we go area wise. We go say Mumbai. We pick and choose areas where we want to go. So it depends on what kind of product you have, what kind of services you have, and how you want to scale it up. So there is no right or wrong approach to any of those. Is what my take is. So is it clear, Praveen Kumar? So yeah. So should I take the next question of Priyanka?
Yeah.
How can I improve myself for marketing communication? Give some strategy that I develop in myself in day-to-day life. Give some activities that I do with myself to train myself in this regard. Okay, how do I improve your marketing communication? Priyanka, communication is the key, whether it is in any phase of life. Okay. See, marketing communications can come. I mean, today the world has gone bizarre, and it's become an e-world. So you have to make sure that you have all the tools to make sure that you are well equipped to communicate with your audience. I would say you start yourself. Suppose you want to become a great marketing communicator, you start the first and foremost. You have to start with your family. Start with the family. Start communicating them. Start talking to them. What is it you want to? What is it you want to become? Understand whether they are understanding whether they are not only understanding whether your thought process or no. once you establish them, then the next set of people are your family and friends. Then go to the friends. So you start your thought process depends on what is the communication you want. What is the communication you want to excel at? It can be you want a business idea. It can be your career. It can be anything. So today the social media platform has given you a huge and a wide range on communicating to your desired audience or to everybody and anybody. You can join a professional LinkedIn platform. You can be on, depending. That's a wonderful professional platform. In fact, for information, Dr. Sanjeev we are connected. Me and Dr. Sanjeev are connected on LinkedIn platform. I mean, it gives you the kind of ease to which you can approach people. You can build your own thought process. You start posting. See, the point is that a wonderful platform, LinkedIn, or for that matter, any social media. You cannot get. It's non-judgmental. You want to post something, you post it, and see what people are reacting to it. You will get a reaction. You will get a reaction. So the way to communicate your thought process is nothing but to post on LinkedIn, post on a social media platform, and see what people react to it. So your job becomes much simpler. You will get a lot of things. You may get a lot of people not liking it, people liking it. But then you have to have the tenacity to accept what is said wrong and improve upon, and don't get demoralized or demotivated or carried away with what people are talking. So that's very critical communication. I hope I'm able to make sense. Start with your family, start with your friends, start with the within circle, then go to the your communication, your social media platform, put across things, put a note, see how it happens, and then maybe yes, you will be definitely successful. The next, I will go to the next question, which is of Mandira Paul. Good evening, Mandira. Sales and marketing as a career. What difficulties a fresher may face at the early stage of his job, her job, and how to overcome with those difficulties? Wonderful question, Mandira. Well, I see as a early stage difficulties. Okay, this term difficulty is built by who? Is built by you, me. Okay, we think it is difficult. See you try and address those. It's a self-created demon in your mind. Okay, this is going to be difficult. A fresher will find it difficult. You go with a thought process. See how to change the way you approach this. Change the thought process to a platform where you say, how am I going to make a difference? Rather than what difficulty a fresher may face. And you approach that, you will find a solution to your own problems. You'll find a solution to the problem which is there in the market, which is there within the organization, wherever it is. But having said that, okay, a fresher will definitely have an attitude problem to begin with. Today I have seen a lot of youngsters should not have an attitude. The creation of a difficulty is an attitude. Sometimes what happens is you come out of the MBA school. I've got so many, let me tell you, people who have graduated from IIMs, okay? Today IIM, Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta. These are all aspirational institutions, no doubt about it. People, in spite of passing out from there, I've seen a lot of my colleagues, not really scaling up the career. That's only because of attitude. So learn to be, most important thing is don't get into that attitude of I'm an MBA student, and as somebody else was mentioning that non-MBA and MBA, you'll find a lot of MBA and MBAs and non-MBAs starting the whole career together. You need to be open in your mind. There is nothing called a difficulty. You have to work. You have to take up. It's a hard work. That's what I said that initially when we were discussing. Dr. Sanjeev also mentioned hard work is so critical, so critical. So once you are ready to put in the hard work, there is no difficulty. Well, the difficulty is putting the hard work. Let me tell you. So there is no right or wrong way of doing it in any stage of the career, whether it's early stage, or later stage. There will be times when you feel dejected. That has nothing got to do with pressure. There is nothing got to do with a seasoned career. There will be times when you get dejected. There will be times when you feel of giving up. When you'll feel that, oh, the world is against me. But no, it is not that. Life is not that. You have to just continue doing what you are doing, because unless and until you don't overcome your own disagreement to move forward, you will not be able to move forward. See, falling is okay in life. Everybody falls. Everybody falls, but failing to get up, after a fall is a big mistake people do. It's a crime. Actually, in any profession, it's a crime. If you don't get up, you fall. Nobody will say anything. Absolutely, because every big business idea, every big business has a businessman. Every professional has always. I mean, today he's successful because he's failed multiple times. Fine, but always, whenever he has failed, he has always got up. The example of a lion, well, 20% of its hunt is successful, 80% no. He could have very well given up. I mean, he could have very well given up, but no, he didn't. That's why he's the king of jungle. So the attitude, the difficulties are in your mind. Think of how you will actually bring in value. And there is no harm when you join an organization, you put forth your thought process. People may like it, people may not like it. People not liking it, not necessarily that if they are not liking you. Maybe don't take it personally. We should never take it personally. Well, there you will find a lot of people. Try and learn. Your attitude should be learn. The first few years should always be learning. So I think there is no difficulty. You just have to make sure that you start learning as an attitude, and you will make sure that you will have a life of great success. Okay, can we go? I don't know whether Mandira, I have made sense to you. I mean, I hope I have made. I am not too sure.
Yes,
yeah. You're saying something, Dr. Sanjeev?
I'm saying yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does definitely make a lot of sense. So the next is how sales and marketing can work together. Abhishek Singh. Well, sales and marketing always have to be together. In reality, it is never together. I'm saying from my experience, don't take me as this thing, because I'm talking in the organization. Always sales and marketing always are Tom and Jerry. So, but yes, sales and marketing, you need to know both the spectrum of sales and the marketing. Any successful marketing person was always a sales guy. Remember that. Not the visa, not vice versa. A successful marketing person sales is a part of marketing. Okay, though we'll say this two separately, because if you go to see the sales and marketing definitions, if you notice, sales is the first touch point of product and services experience for the consumer. Marketing is the first actual feel point of visual point of a campaign. So which means a sales and marketing always will have to work together for the benefit of the organization. I mean, if you cannot have a marketing campaign if it doesn't generate sales. I mean, ultimately, a sales has to be generated, and the sales generation comes with a very well-planned marketing campaign. I mean, even a company like Vodafone, they're one of the wonderful marketing companies. I mean, they really have the way they marketed their Zuzos. I mean, it's really wonderful. You take any idea for that matter. I'm talking about telecom business. Idea can change their lives. A wonderful marketing campaign. So what I want to say is the marketing campaign is critical for a sales to happen. And after creating a wonderful marketing campaign, if the sales doesn't happen, it's of no use of that marketing campaign. So both goes hand in hand. It's extremely critical that sales and marketing will have to work hand in hand. So I will take the next one. Harshita Gushin. What are the key tips to be in the PR department, and what are the challenges after entering into that? See, PR department is a face of an organization. I'll just take a water, please. A PR department is a face of an organization. I mean, how face of the organization, not from an individual standpoint, but what are the PR activities a organization carries, is able to put across to the market, or is visible in the whatever campaign, whatever public relation. Public relation, without a proper public relation, you cannot move into the next step as an organization. Yes, it is first and foremost is in a PR. You need to, the person who is into that. I mean, Harshita, you need to be visible. See, what I'm saying is something very different. You need to be visible. PR starts, and any PR starts within the organization first. It's a visibility within the organization. In fact, whatever campaign or whatever public campaign which has been carried out, a PR's job is to make sure that is well entrenched within the organization, well entrenched outside the organization. People who matter most, they need to know what actually the organization is trying to convey to the market. So from a PR, the challenge is most of the time a PR person forgets, that he is campaigning for, he is actually talking for an organization. He is he starts talking for the services and and the product of the organization, which is not his job. His job is the face of the organization. The organization should be conveyed in the right sense and in the right mold to the outside world. So PR department has a wonderful opportunity. Only thing you need to see that how it is getting communicated to the end world is more important. Where first it starts within the organization, then it starts outside. That's how it is, actually. I hope I was able to make it. Then who else? Then anything else is there? Any other questions? Yeah. Any other questions? If it's there, I mean, you can always ask.
Any other question from anyone? I think there have been quite a number of questions and you have replied them exceedingly well.
No, anything. I mean, I would love to answer the questions if they have anything. I have no time constraint, not to worry. So unless you people have got time, I mean, I'm saying the students have a time constraint. I have no clue. But yeah, you can always ask.
It has been a wonderful session. It's excellent session, sir. Most of the students, they have put forward their queries, and it is always, there will be some queries always there on the second thoughts and third thoughts which come to them.
Okay.
So we will maybe we will request you to have another session.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to do that. I mean, whenever you tell me, I mean, yeah, we will definitely work that out. No problem. In fact, the most important thing, let me tell you one just a piece of advice to all the students. See, take life. Don't make success a topmost priority in life. Don't make success. I'm giving you a very different thought process of life after going through. See, people come out to after doing MBA. When they come out to the real world, they want to achieve success immediately. No. You have to work for your success. You have to make sure that success is something which is achieved and derived only after you go through the process of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that of course that you can always in the process of achieving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is nothing but hard work. They're the top 3. You have to work hard for achieving your success. There is no two opinion. The rest of the thing, yes, you learn. You have to have a very inquisitive mind. Learning mind. You have to keep things. You have to keep your eyes and mind and ears open. And always keep it open, so that any new which comes up, experiment that. Keep experimenting. Today the organizations allow their employees to experiment. They give complete freedom to experiment, because they want them to experiment. Because out of 10 experiments, even if 2 clicks. I mean, just like as I said, 20%, 80%, 20% click, that will be a huge thing for the organization. People they don't bother about the 8, which is actually got this. So always learn, hard work, learn, experiment, and be visible. I keep saying that you have to be visible anywhere, because visibility will not come without you actually talking about issues or about concerns about your career aspirations, you have to keep talking about it in your organization. So yes, these are the things which I normally I would have loved to somebody advising me this when I was actually starting my career 25 years back. But yes, nevertheless, so these are very, very critical. Emotionally, you need to be very, very strong. Be positive. Always be positive in life. There is no substitute. You will see in life. Life will always not always give you the riches. Life will always not be very great to you. There will be times when you will find little difficulty, as I say. But don't lose hope. You have to be positive. You have to work it out. You have to sustain work. Well, if you want to, and business, get into your own business by the time that is what I would advise everybody. All the 120 participants, I don't know how many participants are there, but all of you, I would advise, start something on your own by the time you are 40, 42. Start something on your own. It is possible. You guys, that will make a huge difference to you. Start something. I mean, you have opportunity, you will have platform, you've got, and yes, you already, as I said, you are already into a battlefield with IBS. So do that. Make use of this. That's all I could say. I don't want to bore them with a lot of other GAN, which I don't want to.
No, this is something very important. They should be knowing at this stage, and it should be reminded to them many more times.
Great. So
thank you.
Anything else you want to know? Anybody? I mean, anything you want to know about anything? You can always ask me. I mean, not necessarily. Maybe you can. Maybe the anchors can ask whatever.
It has been a very interesting session with all those tips coming from you, sir.
I enjoyed myself, to be honest. I mean, I always enjoy talking to students who, because I see them. Honestly, I see them the future of the country. I mean, most of them would love. I mean, I don't know. Quite a few of them will not be in the country also. They would love to go abroad. It's a different matter altogether. But having said that, yes, you have the future. The future, wherever you are, you can create a future. I mean, you are the future of the country wherever you are based on that. So go ahead, experiment, live your life, lead your life. So I always tell my team, work harder, work hard, party harder. Always remember, work hard and party harder. I mean, life is not only work. Please understand. Life is not just only work. You have to work hard, but then when you after hard days work, you need to really party yourself. Give it. I mean, the party harder can be construed in multiple ways. You have to give it back, pat in the back, whatever. Be spent sometimes with your friend, spend time. No, spend good time with the family. I mean, whatever you feel like doing, do that. But party harder, work hard. So that's about it from my side, Doctor. Anything else, Doctor, you want me to tell? I can.
Thank you. It has been a wonderful interaction, sir. I'll request Dr. Raghavan Sharma, sir, to please propose a formal vote of thanks. It has been wonderful interacting with you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Malviya. It is a matter of immense pleasure for me to propose a vote of thanks for this interesting session. I would extend my sincere thanks towards Mr. Ravi Iyer, who is the expert for today's talk. He has discussed about many interesting concepts, particularly that SPANCO detailing and 24/42. That was a very good, very interesting principles of these things. If you ask me, marketing, every transaction in this world is either sales or buying. There is no other third transactions, right? Maybe your personal life, maybe. And it was quite interesting to look at the different dimensions on this marketing, sales, purchase consort. Sir, you particularly come from Reliance Jio. That must be a very busy schedule you must have. We are thankful for you to spare time to deliver this interesting talk.
My pleasure.
I also would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Dr. Muthu Vinayak, who has sensitized all of us in IBS Dehradun to organize and liaison and network with industry people and to arrange them and to request them for sharing their views on different areas of their expert with the students, so that the students can learn a lot of things from them. Because what we can discuss then in the class, it may have, if I was in industry maybe for 10 years back, so my industry connection, my industry updation, maybe 10 years, 10 years older. If somebody is doing something in the industry right now, it's always interesting to provide a platform where the current practitioners of management concepts and students can come together and they can interact with each other. It's always interesting. So, and Professor Dr. Muthu Vinay has allowed us, give us freedom to organize such kind of interventions. So, I thank
Speaking. I think some connect.
Dr. Muthu Vinay also. Many faculties have joined this, right from the beginning to the my faculty friends and lovely participants. And also thank again the IT team who allowed us to interact with the different stakeholders of education from the time. So thank you, Akhilesh. I would like to thank
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravi, once again for sparing time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ravi sir. Thank you, Ravi sir,
Thank you,
so,
Ankit.
to give us the experience of your real life learning, and our students are really enlightened with your
My
ideas
pleasure.
and suggestions. Thank you,
My
sir.
pleasure.
Thank you, Malvi sir, and thank you, Ravin sir, and my other colleagues and students. Thanks for participating. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you, all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Iyer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Akhilesh, we can close the meeting.